Sid Meier's civilization games are somewhat based on real-world history and real-world happenings, wherein you play as a famous world leader trying to take your civilization to the top and win. But what if this were real life? Who would actually win? One writer at IO9 sort of figured it out, and we have the results, which are very interesting. So if you want to win the way I win, which is complete and utter conquest and domination, kill everyone, the clear winner there is actually the Persian Empire.
Well, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that Persian had the biggest population empire. They at one time controlled about 45% of the people on Earth. Mm-hmm. But they only ever owned 5% of the land.
Are we going by people or land? Because they're way differently in different Civ games.
In Civ, at least Civ 3, the one the author used, is you have to have, was it 50-50 or was it 66%?
I think it's, I don't know.
Yeah, nobody in the history has ever met the requirements of a civilization conquest.
So nobody really wins any of these.
Persia
Who is the closest to winning? Followed closely by the British Empire.
And the Mongols.
The Mongols, third?
Pretty neck and neck with the British Empire.
But what if you're not crazy and want to kill everyone like I do as Gandhi? There's a space victory where you would send you would build a space program and send your population to Alpha Centauri and start a new colony there. Who would win that one? Who is the closest? Well, it's the USA, who traveled to the moon.
USA! USA!
But we've traveled only 1/100 millionth of the way to Alpha Centauri. So we're the closest, but by a pathetic margin.
He compares it to if the goal was to get to the moon, the United States walked up one flight of steps.
Guys.
We did it!
None of this is taking in the cheater's guide that if you read ahead in the Bible, Israel wins it all.
Oh, interesting.
Sorry.
Well, we're playing by Civ rules, not Bible rules today. And then we also have cultural victory, which is very interesting.
Of religious rules. So, I mean, there's lots of things you get cultural points for, like the big great wonders and whatnot. But in actuality, in terms of in real life, nobody, the thing with the least cultural value, which is a single temple, ends up being the biggest swing in the favor of China because they have over 100 million temples. So no matter how many Mona Lisas you paint and Eiffel Towers you build, you'll never catch up to China with 100 million temples.
But let's go to diplomacy victory. So in order to win that victory, you need to be elected leader of the UN. Who was the first to be elected leader of the UN? Norway. Norway's not represented in this game, though, and also there are different rules to achieve the UN victory in Civ versus real life, which would have certain conventions that would disallow nations like China and the US from having that leadership position due to representation on the Security Council. So it's very not super clear. Norway wins, I guess.
At least now I finally know.
They're not the first ones, but they were the first elected.
Right.
At least now we finally know what actual power the president of the UN has. It's points in civilization.
Totally. Well, the rules in Civ are you have to build the UN, which the US has done this. You have to control over 25% of the world's land area and the population. And if nobody meets those criteria, then the most populated one wins. That is China. China has been barred in real life. Very confusing. The answer is Norway, question mark? And then we have, of course, histograph, which is, if nobody really achieves any of those victories, by the end, we're going to go off of just one criteria, which is who's the furthest along in points, which is...
When you say the end, it's the year 2050.
Yes, this moves linearly.
Which I'm hoping is not the end.
And your world leader is immortal, apparently. If we count in population and territory, happiness score, it looks like China wins. So China has won twice on this admittedly weird criteria.
So the country that I built in The Sims is better than China.
Well, no, Civ.
As far as happiness score, according to that chart, yeah.
Awesome.
So, as we've learned here, Civ doesn't really relate to real life, but it is interesting to think about. Let us know what you think of all this below in the comments, and please be sure to subscribe.